Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Championship Wrestling Network Friday Night Fire. Malcolm King here live at TD Gardens in Boston, Massachusetts. We have an action packed show here for you guys all this evening. As you can see, I am all by myself. I decided to give my counterparts the day off. CEO Donald Smith off doing his own thing, Lavender D off doing her own thing, dealing with her um, modeling or whatever you want to call it. Cherry May uh, working on the tag team championship uh, individuals as well as the tag team division. So Malcolm King here live for all of you fans, and hopefully tonight's show doesn't have a abundance of shenanigans and we can get through this as quickly as possible because we're being honest, Malcolm King kind of has some things to do here. So let's jump right into it. Match number one of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, was an epic match to say the least. It was a singles match that featured a member of the Frenemies, former CWN Unity Tag Team Champion Dominator, as he took on the legendary Psycho Mike, and an absolutely amazing match here between both of these men as they showcase their talents and almost destroyed one another as tensions began to run high. The legendary Psycho Mike was able to utilize the mind games, forcing the Dominator to be disqualified in this match, ignoring the referee's instructions, going outside of the rules here, and brutally attacking the legendary Psycho Mike as the referee would call for a disqualification due to Dominator's own um, issues, so to speak. The winner of match number one, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than the legendary Psycho Mike. After the match, ladies and gentlemen, both of these men did continue to fight. It took an abundance of security to separate these two men from each other as they continued to try and destroy one another and rip each other's heads off. So, uh, interesting way to start the evening here. The fans here in TD Gardens at this arena were absolutely impressed by the opening match of the evening. Again, Dominator would lose the match due to disqualification, granting the victory to none other than the legendary Psycho Mike. Match number two was a CWN Intercontinental Championship match. It featured one half of the American Revolution Elite, the CWN Intercontinental Champion, Casey Luchador, as he took on Southern Heart, who earned this opportunity due to her uh, talents and abilities and showing up and showing out at the Massacre pay per view in the women's showcase. So, as promised, each of these women, the four women that were present in that match that took uh, place in that match, that competed in that match, all earned a championship opportunity. The first woman would be Southern Heart in this CWN Intercontinental Championship match, and she did not waste any time, continued to carry on from the momentum of last week, and would take Casey Luchador to his absolute limit, counter for counter, move for move, absolutely dominating in some spots here in this match. Casey Luchador, the champion, but Southern Heart would be distracted by none other than the music of Nikki Hartman, the woman that she would fight with, battle with through the crowd at the Massacre pay per view, into the backstage area, up in the concourse, in the catering area, in the food stands, everywhere in the backstage area of the arena. As soon as Nikki Hartman's music would play, Southern Hearts would turn her attention from Casey Luchador to the entrance stage, waiting for Nikki Hartman to make her entrance. However, Nikki Hartman would not show up, allowing Casey Luchador to pick up an advantage here in this match, taking Southern Heart to the mat. He would then climb to the top turnbuckle and connect with a 5-star frog splash, hooking the leg of Southern Heart and picking up the pinfall victory. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner and still CWN Intercontinental Champion is none other than Casey Luchador. Match number 3 was a singles match, no time limit. It featured the other half of the Frenemies, Gunner, as he took on Andy Owens. First time these two have ever been in the ring together. First time they've ever competed against one another here in CWN, and they put on an absolute show, going toe to toe, back and forth. Momentum swings were constant throughout this match. Every time Gunner would get an upper hand, he would come up with a near fall. On the flip side, every time Andy Owens would get the upper hand, he would also come up with a near fall. It all boiled down to the final moments of the match, ladies and gentlemen, as Gunner had Andy Owens set up for that devastating pop-up power bomb to fire away. Andy Owens was able to counter out of that move and connect with a Owens stomp. Andy Owens would hook the leg of Gunner as the referee would count 1, 2, 3. Your winner for match number 3, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than Andy Owens. However, at the end of the match, Gunner's partner, the other half of the Frenemies, Dominator, would make his way out to the ring, and the two of them would beat down Andy Owens, forcing again the security to come out to the ring and to restrain both Gunner and Dominator, as doctors and additional officials would check on the well-being of Andy Owens after suffering a post-match beatdown courtesy of the Frenemies. Match number 4, ladies and gentlemen, it is a Falls Count Anywhere match. It features the Dark Circus taking on another member from the Dark Circus. The first competitor is none other than the CWN United States Champion, Dark Princess, as she takes on Jackson Law. Our camera crew caught up with Law as he is preparing himself when the lights in his locker room begin to flash. Circus music can be heard playing as Dark Princess brutally attacks him. A referee is on scene and calls for the bell. Dark Princess continues her attack as she slams Law headfirst off the lockers and then into the wall. Dark Princess would grab a steel chair and deliver several strikes to the back of Law with that steel chair, changing the structure, the look of that steel chair from the brutal and vicious shots that she delivered to Jackson Law, bending the chair up. Dark Princess would toss the chair aside and pull Law to his feet. She connects with a royal knockout, that stunner, but doesn't go for the cover. Instead, she pulls Law to his feet, tosses him through a door in his locker room. The lights in the room begin to flash behind that closed door as Dark Princess opens the door and takes a step back as the Unhinged makes his way out. Unhinged would lock Dark Princess in the mandible claw and begin to slam her into the lockers and tosses her out of the locker room. Unhinged drives Dark Princess back with vicious, vicious punches. Dark Princess would hit Unhinged with anything she could get her hands on, but it doesn't appear to phase him any whatsoever. Dark Princess would stumble through the curtain and onto the entrance stage as Dark Princess would wait for Unhinged to step out from behind the curtains onto that entrance stage. She would spear Unhinged into the LED boards on the stage before making her way to the ring. Unhinged would make his way down the ramp and into the ring, only to receive another royal knockout, that devastating stunner. However, Unhinged would immediately get to his feet, only to receive yet another royal knockout. And again, Unhinged gets to his feet, only to get yet another royal knockout as Dark Princess hooks the leg, but Unhinged powers out at two. Unhinged would get to his feet and blocks another stunner attempt, reversing it into a vicious Uranagi. Dark Princess gets to her hands and knees as Unhinged would hit her with a running knee strike. Unhinged follows up with the topsy turny, the neck twist. Unhinged would pull a limp Dark Princess to her feet and connects with the chaotic nightmare to Codebreaker. Unhinged sets Dark Princess up for yet another topsy turny as the referee pleads for him to just pin her to show some type of mercy and remorse here. However, Unhinged would connect with another topsy turny, that neck twist to Dark Princess, and would follow up with yet again another chaotic nightmare. As Unhinged goes to repeat the process, the referee would call for the bell, ladies and gentlemen, which is probably in the best interest for everyone involved, as a lot of damage could have been done to Dark Princess here based off of the mood, based off of the moves that the Unhinged was performing on a defenseless Dark Princess, to say the least. So, winner of match number 4 via referee stoppage is none other than the Dark Prince, or I'm sorry, is none other than Unhinged. Ladies and gentlemen, jumping in to match number 5. And sorry, guys, I see all of you commenting, reacting, showing love, showing support. I appreciate the ones of you that are tagging the individuals in these matches. Um, However, I'm not even really looking at the StreamYard screen when you're doing it. I appreciate you doing it. I implore you to continue to do it. Um, but I'm also not looking at that screen. So, um, moving on, ladies and gentlemen, match number 5. It's the Boundless Championship match. It features the Boundless Champion Mason Stevens as he takes on my muscle, the Gypsy Freak. Mason and Gypsy go move for move, counter for counter against each other. As soon as the bell rings, Gypsy uses her experience and capitalizes early on in the match. Gypsy takes her time to inflict as much punishment as possible to Mason. Gypsy has Mason set up in the corner and connects with a big splash, following up with that crystal ball, the running bulldog, as Gypsy hooks the leg but only gets a 2 count. Gypsy looks to hit the tarot card, but Mason rolls to the outside of the ring, wisely rolls to the outside of the ring. Gypsy runs the ropes and goes for a suicide dive, but Mason catches her out of the air and nails her with the money shot, that Glasgow kiss, that devastating headbutt of his. For several minutes, Mason uses the outside of the ring to his advantage, slamming Gypsy off the steel steps, barricade, and ring apron. Mason lays Gypsy on top of the announce table. He makes his way back in the ring. He climbs to the top turnbuckle. Mason goes for a trip to the bank, the Swanton bomb, but Gypsy manages to roll off of the table as Mason crashes through it. Gypsy quickly grabs Mason, rolls him into the ring. She would then connect with that tarot card, the twisted split neck breaker. Gypsy would hook the leg and pick up the pinfall. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner via pinfall and new CWN Boundless champion is none other than my muscle, the Gypsy Freak herself. Congratulations to the Gypsy Freak, another woman from the Women's Showcase at the Massacre pay per view who earned herself a title shot. And unlike the Southern Heart, Gypsy capitalized on the opportunity, becoming a two-time CWN Boundless champion. So again, congratulations to the Gypsy Freak. The first co-main event of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, is a interesting one. It is a Hell in a Cell match with the special ring enforcer being none other than T Wolf. It features members of the Dark Circus yet again. Another one of brilliant ideas that I had. The CWN Brutality Champion Crisis takes on Dark Mayhem himself. But before the match, Dark Mayhem is in the back doing an interview before his match. The announcer stops the interview when the TV backstage shows Crisis in the center of the ring with a microphone as Crisis says he knows how pissed off his brother T Wolf is after last week. And tonight he is going to let his brother handle things. Mayhem would make his way out to the ring. Once he gets to the entrance ramp, Crisis points behind him, and out of nowhere, T Wolf spears Mayhem nearly in half. T Wolf grabs Mayhem and tosses him into the barricade. Mayhem fights back, driving T Wolf towards the structure on the entrance stage. The two men's fight would lead them up to the scaffolding on top of this structure. It's about 20 to 25 feet off the ground, ladies and gentlemen. For several minutes, the two continue to beat the hell out of each other as T Wolf tries to toss Mayhem off the scaffold, but Mayhem uses the momentum to hit the KIA. Mayhem drops to a knee, trying to recoup as T Wolf sits up. Unbeknownst to Mayhem, Mayhem gets to his feet and turns around only to receive a spear from T Wolf, sending both men flying off of that scaffolding 25 feet, crashing to the floor. Doctor securities officials immediately rush to the crash site and check on both men who have not moved for several minutes here, ladies and gentlemen. They are both loaded up on stretchers and taken out of the arena. The match result for the first co-main event of the evening is a no contest, and Crisis seems, based off of the look that he has on his face right now, like he expected nothing less than what we just saw there. We will give you all updates on Dark Mayhem and T Wolf's condition as soon as we get word of it. Moving on to the second co-main event of the evening, it is the CWN Unity Tag Team Championship match. It features the tag team champions, the Psycho Avatars, Sabrina and Sarabai, versus the New Breed, Brockus and Michael the Angel. The Unity Tag Team champions look absolutely dominant in the opening settings of the match. Sarabai and Sabrina work cohesively, isolating Michael in their corner. After several quick tags, the Unity Tag champs look like they have this in the bag. Sarabai has Michael's foot and is taunting Brockus as he keeps Michael from making the tag. Michael creates separation with an Inseguri. As soon as Brockus makes the tag, the momentum shifts as he knocks Sabrina off the ring apron. Brockus utilizes his quickness against Sarabai with stick and move tactics. New Breed utilized double team moves, taking the bigger Sarabai off of his feet. Brockus is able to hit the Russian roulette on Sarabai as Brockus goes for the pinfall. Michael would hold down on Brockus's back, but Sarabai powers out at 2. Sabrina takes out both members of New Breed with a crossbody off the top rope. After several moments, Brockus is able to tag in Michael, who has made his way back to his feet and to his corner. And Sarabai does the same, tagging in Sabrina. Sarabai would turn, run the ropes, ducks under a clothesline attempt from Michael, and spears Brockus through the ropes. As they both crash and burn to the outside, Michael takes his eyes off of Sabrina as he checks on Brock, and Sabrina will spin him around and connects the psycho effect. Sabrina would then pick up the pinfall victory, retaining the CWN Unity Tag Team Championships. However, frenemies would attack Sabrina and Sarabaya as soon as the match is over. Andy Owens' music hits as he makes his way out and beelines for Dominator and Gunner. Andy holds his own for a few moments, but the numbers game catches up to him. Frenemies and New Breed would beat down Andy when Mason Stevens' music would hit as Mason takes down Gunner with a double leg takedown. Dominator would grab Mason but is attacked from behind by Andy. Sarabai and Sabrina take out the New Breed, knocking him over the top ropes and outside of the ring. Psycho Avatars and Mason and Andy stand tall in the ring as the Frenemies and New Breed retreat to the back. Again, your winners of the second co-main event is none other than the Psycho Avatars. And what an interesting partnership, so to speak, between the Frenemies and the New Breed, as well as Mason Stevens coming to the aid of Andy Owens and the Psycho Avatars, your CWN Unity Tag Team Champions, allying allying themselves um, with Mason and Andy Owens. So interesting developments here, ladies and gentlemen. Can't wait to see what that brings in the future. But moving on to the first main event of the evening, it is a redemption match. If Trey Kemp beats Austin Kruger, he will earn a title shot in 2 weeks' time. The CWN Universal Champion Austin Monster Kruger versus the legend etched in stone Trey Camp. Kruger and Trey Camp try to tear each other apart from the opening bell. With weeks of these two battling, it is very apparent in this match that they have studied each other and are no strangers to one another. The opening settings of the match is very slow and methodical as neither man is willing to take too big of a risk and show mutual respect for one another inside of the squared circle. Camp hits an ace high, the RKO to Kruger, but only gets a near fall. Kruger would battle back and nails Camp with a Kruger cutter to Dirty Deeds, but is only able to get a near fall. After several minutes of back and forth, both men connect with super kicks, dropping them both to the mat. The lights go out as unhinged laughter fills the arena. When the lights come back on, Unhinged is in the ring between both men. Camp and Kruger get to their feet, eyes fixed on Unhinged. Unhinged looks like he is going to attack Kruger, but Camp grabs his arm. Unhinged would turn and connects a chaotic nightmare, the code breaker, to Trey Camp, forcing the referee to call for the bell. Kruger would grab his trusty bat, but when he turns back to Unhinged, the chaotic nightmare shakes his head and slides out of the ring as the lights begin to flash. Unhinged seemingly vanishes as the lights go back to normal, with just his laugh echoing again throughout the arena. Your winner via disqualification is none other than the legend etched in stone, Trey Camp, which means Trey Camp has earned himself with an assist, an unfortunate assist from the unhinged, but nonetheless has earned himself an opportunity, a title opportunity for the Universal Championship against Austin Kruger in 2 weeks' time. And as we all have seen in recent uh, weeks here, Austin Kruger, Trey Camp, both at the top of their game. It is going to be an absolute banger of a match in regards to that Universal Championship. And like the fans, I cannot wait to see what takes place during said match. But let's move on to the final match of the evening, the second main event of the evening. It is the CWN World Heavyweight Championship match. It features our new CWN World Heavyweight Champion, the Mailman, as he takes on one half of the American Revolution Elite, Johnny Rockstar. Back and forth match, ladies and gentlemen. Both men put on an instant classic as they showcase their in ring talents. Johnny Rockstar being a high flyer, the Mailman being a very, very unique at the top of his game, technical in ring wrestler. Rockstar would go high risk several times in the match, but is only able to pick up near falls. Mailman is able to capitalize on a mistake made by Rockstar as Mailman has Rockstar set up for the return to sender when a howl would fill the arena. However, I'm not sure if it's T Wolf or not because we did see him um, stretchered out of the arena. The circus music begins to play, so I guess we're about to find out here, ladies and gentlemen, as Rockstar takes advantage of a distracted Mailman. Rockstar goes for a schoolboy roll up, but Mailman kicks out at two. Mailman hits Rockstar with the return to sender. Absolutely devastating. Mailman hooks the leg for the three count when the lights would go out. When they come back on, T Wolf's briefcase and blood-stained hoodie are left in the ring, but Mailman and Rockstar are gone. Jackson Law's music plays as he makes his way out to the ring. Law examines the hoodie with a look that confirms it is, in fact, the ultimate predator T Wolf's. Law picks the briefcase up, raises it over his head as the circus music begins to play and the lights go out in the arena. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner and still CWN World Heavyweight Champion is none other than the Mailman. However, with the hoodie in the ring, us seeing T Wolf stretchered out earlier in the evening, as well as Dark Mayhem, and the update that I'm getting so far is that doesn't look good for either one of these two men after falling 25 feet off of the scaffolding to the floor below. It is safe to assume that T Wolf has handed over his briefcase that he won, that he earned winning the Golden Mike tournament to a member of the Dark Circus, which means at any given time, any of those members of the Dark Circus can cash that briefcase in on a championship of their choosing. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the show for you this evening. Malcolm King here, CEO of CWN, and we will see you all next week as we travel to Madison Square Gardens. Peace.